Hello viewers, once again welcome to your very own channel, The Basics of Marketing. As you know, we share on this channel the basic concepts of marketing like definitions and concepts, etc. So without wasting your time any further, let's start. Today we'll discuss the concept of the buyer decision process. Wikipedia defines it as the buying decision process is the decision-making process used by consumers regarding the market transactions before, during, and after the purchase of goods or services. It can be seen as a particular form of a cost-benefit analysis in the presence of multiple alternatives. The buyer decision process consists of 5 stages, namely need recognition, information search, evaluation of alternatives, purchase decision, and post-purchase behavior. Clearly, the buying process starts long before the actual purchase and continues long after. Marketers need to focus on the entire buying process rather than on the purchase decision only. The consumers pass through all 5 stages with every purchase, but in more routine purchases, consumers often skip or reverse some of these stages. A person buying his or her regular brand of toothpaste would recognize the need and go right to the purchase decision, skipping information search and evaluation. Need recognition. Need or problem recognition is oftentimes recognized as the first and most crucial step in the buying process, because if a consumer does not perceive a problem or need, he or she generally will not move forward with considering a product purchase. The buying process starts with need recognition. The buyer recognizes a problem or need. The need can be triggered by internal stimuli when one of person's normal needs, for example, hunger or thirst, rises to a level high enough to become a drive. A need can also be triggered by external stimuli, for example, an advertisement or a discussion with a friend might get you thinking about buying a new car. At this stage, the marketers should research consumers to find out what kind of needs or problems arise, what brought them about, and how they led the consumer to this particular product. Information search. An interested consumer may or may not search for more information. If the consumer's drive is strong and a satisfying product is near at hand, he or she is likely to buy it then. If not, the consumer may store the need in memory or undertake an information search related to the need. For example, once you have decided you need a new car, at the least you will probably pay more attention to car ads, cars owned by friends, and car conversations. Or you may actively search the web, talk with friends, and gather information in other ways. Consumers can obtain information from any of several sources. These include personal sources, family, friends, neighbors, acquaintances; commercial sources, advertising, salespeople, dealer websites, packaging displays; public sources, mass media, consumer rating organizations, internet searches; and experiential sources, handling, examining, using the product. The relative influence of these information sources varies with the product and the buyer. Generally, the consumer receives the most information about a product from commercial sources, those controlled by the marketers. The most effective sources, however, tend to be personal. Commercial sources normally inform the buyer but personal sources legitimize or evaluate products for the buyer. As one marketer states, it's rare that an advertising campaign can be as effective as a neighbor leaning over the fence and saying, "This is a wonderful product." Increasingly, that fence is a digital one. Another recent study revealed that consumers find sources of user-generated content, discussion forums, blogs, online review sites, and social networking sites 3 times more influential when making a purchase decision than conventional marketing methods such as television advertising. As more information is obtained, the consumer's awareness and knowledge of the available brands and features increase. In your car information search, you may learn about the several brands available. The information might also help you to drop certain brands from consideration. A company must design its marketing mix to make prospect aware of and knowledgeable about its brand. It should carefully identify consumers' sources of information and the importance of each source. Evaluation of alternatives. Evaluation of alternatives is the third stage in the consumer buying decision process. During this stage, consumers evaluate all of their product and brand options on a scale of attributes which have the ability to deliver the benefit that the consumer is seeking. Marketers need to know about alternative evaluation, that is, how the consumer processes information to arrive at brand choices. Unfortunately, consumers do not use a simple and single evaluation process in all buying situations. Instead, several evaluation processes are at work. The consumer arrives at attitudes toward different brands through some evaluation procedure. How consumers go about evaluating purchase alternatives depends on the individual consumer and the specific buying situation. In some cases, consumers use careful calculations and logical thinking. At other times, the same consumers do little or no evaluating. Instead, they buy on impulse and rely on intuition. Sometimes consumers make buying decisions on their own. Sometimes they turn to friends, online reviews, or salespeople for buying advice. Suppose you have narrowed your car choices to 3 brands, and suppose that you are primarily interested in 4 attributes: styling, operating economy, warranty, and price. By this time, you've probably formed beliefs about how each brand rates on each attribute. Clearly, if one car rated best on all the attributes, the marketers could predict that you would choose it. However, the brands will no doubt vary in appeal. You might base your buying decision on only one attribute, and your choice would be easy to predict. If you wanted styling above everything else, you would buy the car that you think has the best styling. But most buyers consider several attributes, each with different importance. If the marketers knew the importance that you assign to each attribute, he or she could predict your car choice more reliably. Marketers should study buyers to find out how they actually evaluate brand alternatives. If marketers know what evaluative processes go on, they can take steps to influence the buyer's decision. Purchase decision. In the evaluation stage, the consumer ranks brands and forms purchase intentions. Generally, the consumer's purchase decision will be to buy the most preferred brand, but 2 factors can come between the purchase intention and the purchase decision. The first factor is the attitudes of others. If someone important to you thinks that you should buy the lowest priced car, then the chances of you buying a more expensive car are reduced. The second factor is unexpected situational factors. The consumer may form a purchase intention based on factors such as expected income, expected price, and expected product benefits. However, unexpected events may change the purchase intention. For example, the economy might take a turn for the worse, a close competitor might drop its price, or a friend might report being disappointed in your preferred car. Thus, preferences and even purchase intentions do not always result in actual purchase choice. Post-purchase behavior. Post-purchase behavior is the final stage in the consumer buying decision process when the customer assesses whether he is satisfied or dissatisfied with a purchase. The marketer's job does not end when the product is bought. After purchasing the product, the consumer will either be satisfied or dissatisfied and will engage in post-purchase behavior of interest to the marketers. What determines whether the buyer is satisfied or dissatisfied with a purchase? The answer lies in the relationship between the consumer's expectations and the product's perceived performance. If the product falls short of expectations, the consumer is disappointed. If it meets expectations, the consumer is satisfied. If it exceeds expectations, the consumer is delighted. The larger the gap between expectations and performance, the greater the consumer's dissatisfaction. This suggests that the seller should promise only what their brands can deliver so that the buyers are satisfied. Almost all major purchases, however, result in cognitive dissonance or discomfort caused by post-purchase conflict. After the purchase, consumers are satisfied with the benefits of the chosen brand and are glad to avoid the drawbacks of the brands not bought. However, every purchase involves compromise, so consumers feel uneasy about acquiring the drawbacks of the chosen brand and about losing the benefits of the brands not purchased. Thus, consumers feel at least some post-purchase dissonance for every purchase. Why is it so important to satisfy the customer? Customer satisfaction is a key to building profitable relationships with consumers, to keeping and growing consumers and reaping their customer lifetime value. Satisfied customers buy a product again, talk favorably to others about the product, pay less attention to competing brands and advertising, and buy other products from the company. Many marketeers go beyond merely meeting the expectations of customers. They aim to delight the customer. A dissatisfied consumer responds differently. Bad word of mouth often travels farther and faster than good word of mouth. It can quickly damage consumer attitudes about a company and its products. But companies cannot simply rely on dissatisfied customers to volunteer their complaints when they are dissatisfied. Most unhappy customers never tell the company about their problems. Therefore, a company should measure customer satisfaction regularly. It should set up systems that encourage customers to complain. In this way, the company can learn how well it is doing and how it can improve. By studying the overall buyer decision process, marketers may be able to find ways to help consumers move through it. For example, if consumers are not buying a new product because they do not perceive a need for it, marketing might launch advertising messages that trigger the need and show how the product solves consumers' problems. If customers know about the product but are not buying because they hold unfavorable attitudes toward it, marketers must find ways to change either the product or consumer perceptions. So that's it for today. I hope this video was helpful to you. See you guys in another informative and exciting video soon. Please do not forget to leave your valued comments and suggestions below. Once again, thanks for watching the basics of marketing.